Funsie.
Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Funsie. And I want to say, speaking of Thanksgiving, Sajko, we were already talking about this, but this just came to my mind. I'm so thankful for all of you that listen to this. Sounds cliche, but hear me out. The amount of I don't want to say random, but sort of like scenarios where I'm not expecting comments. They're like, "I love Funsie," or people DMing me like, "Funsie," or this guy Brian. He DM'd me the other day like, "Hey, this is when our episode was muted for a little bit. Hey, the episode muted and it was already fixed, so I helped him to he had to delete the episode and get it back." He's like, "Awesome, thanks." So that was a random DM. So it's just crazy to get all these random interactions of people that actually do listen to Funsie, and it's a good amount. Like in my Stagger Stance chat yesterday, someone said, "Hey, I downloaded Funsie. It's awesome," and stuff like that. So we are thankful for you. I'm sure, Sajko, take it away if you want to echo the same sentiments. I know you're thankful.
No, not grateful at all. No, of course. It's cool to hear all that. I personally, at the events that I've gone to this year, it's been nice to have people that came up to me and say that they listen to the podcast and enjoy it. I don't really get random messages about it per se, but then you see how many listeners that we have. Not like it's anything astronomical, but compared to what we started with, it's still, you're like, wow, that many people are listening to this thing that we do each week.
I think we're getting 300 listeners pretty consistently a week, which is, yes, not a lot of people, but also, yes, a lot of people. Mm-hmm. If you think about 300 unique different lives listening to us somehow, for some reason, in some shape or form, that's pretty cool. So just wanted to open up. Happy Thanksgiving, and we're grateful for all of you that listen.
Yeah, enjoy some sweet Thanksgiving sides, if you will.
Okay.
Is it? Well, yeah, you go.
Well, this is more related to Thanksgiving, but you're Polish. The world knows that.
Am I?
Are you? Is this you're are you predominantly Polish, or is it half, or how is that?
So this is actually hilarious because my last name is incredibly Polish. People call me Sajko. And Ben came up with that, obviously, and I assume because most people don't want to take the time to pronounce Sakowitz. It sounds easy when you just say it out loud when you know what to say, but you look at the number of letters and consonants in my last name, and you're like, I'm not even going to dive in on that.
Yeah.
So actually, just my grandfather on my dad's side is Polish. Otherwise, I'm predominantly French. So I'm about as French, Irish, and some slight Puerto Rican. So pretty much my last name and the tattoo on my leg of a pierogi is about as Polish as I get, man.
So that's where I'm going with this. I didn't know what did you, I didn't know if you guys did something unique for Thanksgiving, me, my family is one side of my family is 100% Puerto Rican. So we get the pernil, the rice and beans, arroz con gandules, which is pernil is pig, I think it might be a pig butt and just toasted, nice and crispy in the skin, the chicharron, and rice and beans, stuff like that. So that's something unique that I do with my family. And then obviously I have an Irish side of the family that does the more traditional, turkey, gravy, stuff. So that's why I was curious. I didn't know if you had any cool foods like that you kind of whipped out at Thanksgiving.
The only thing that's really, I guess you could call Polish, we're not out here being we're gonna do some golubkis.
Dude, I was just about to say golubkis. There's no way. Let's go.
Yo, we should start a podcast.
Yo.
For listeners that don't know, it's cabbage, stuffed with meat and rice and other.
It's like an egg roll, but it's cabbage and it's in stew or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dish. No, I enjoy it. Now for us, I mean, about as crazy as it gets, it's kielbasa in stuffing. and it's unreal.
Yo, that's kind
Dude,
of a play.
It's a game changer. In
That's
Connecticut,
kind of a play. I hate stuffing. I would like stuffing if it had kielbasa in it.
there's. I mean, just gonna hard disagree there, but
Dude, it's just wet bread. It's like I chewed it in my mouth and then just like spit it out, and that's my stuffing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I only know like the stuffing that we make and like ones that I'm not talking crap on whoever makes it for you, but yeah, I'll make stuffing and I'll bring it to your wedding or something like that.
Appreciate it. That'd be cool. You know what's funny? At our wedding, one of our entrees might be a turkey dinner. So
yes,
Thanksgiving in spring, baby.
Dude, look, I polled a bunch of my friends, like the typical sort of, if you could choose 5 foods that you could have for the rest of your life, what would it be? Overwhelmingly, a lot of people said like a Thanksgiving turkey dinner. So
really?
I think a lot of people potentially at your wedding will be very happy with that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it, but my fiance is just like, oh, we're gonna have Thanksgiving at our wedding. She's like geeking about it, but also it's just one of the dishes. Obviously, if you know how weddings work, you get to pick kind of what you want. But that was just like what was one of our favorite foods at that time. So
yeah. Otherwise, not like a whole bunch of like Polish stuff there. We do end up doing some like, I don't know. We do like Brussels sprouts. And like, I mean, I know this is like exciting to hear, but like,
sprouts.
Yeah. So, I would take that, but anyways, we should I don't even know, man. We're just diving deep on Thanksgiving. For those that don't know, I mean, I enjoy like cooking and food, and pretty much when I'm not editing or doing disc golf stuff, I'm watching like cooking shows or, like kind of, I'm like, oh, this is a cool recipe, and just always that's what we enjoy doing.
You're starting to accept your like middle-aged life, you're slowly starting to accept like, soon you're going to start making some coffee in the morning, sipping and be like, I needed this. And then when it starts raining, you're also going to say like, we really needed this. So
the moment that signs start going up around our place where it's like, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. That's the moment where I'm going to look in the mirror and question my existence. It is, look, I fully accept that. I'm like,
you're not
I've always,
close.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed, it's just how I was raised, like making food at home and whatnot. Cause half the time you go out to some of these places and you're like, I mean, that was fine. And it was like kind of expensive. You're like, I could do that. Or it's even like coffee at this point. Like we make pretty good coffee. So you go out and you're like, I don't know. It was fine. And it was $8 for this cold brew or whatever.
Insane. Coffee is insane. Like, I understand the convenience of it, but it's one of those things where you could easily just make the same thing at home because guess what? They sell that same exact thing. That you can just buy, like whatever.
Maybe some people can relate, but I'm definitely a hermit, and my parents are hermits. Yeah, I like to be at home, and
you're a cozy guy, and I've noticed that about you. You do enjoy just like nice and cozy, just like hanging out with your family, and just like but that's a beautiful thing, and I feel like I'm the same way. Like, people want to be like wanderlust and travel the world, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I want to do the same. But sometimes when I travel, I'm like, I kind of am okay with just being home, Like, this was cool, but like this is not what I want to do like every other month or week and go to like Peru and Australia. Like I enjoy that part about me, that I have as much fun being home as if I'm, in Wyoming, herding bison or something like that. That's a bad example, but I'm just trying to say that like I'm happy that I don't need to like that mentality of like, oh, I got to get out of my hometown. Oh, like I can't wait to get out of here. I got to go travel the world. Like, I'm just kind of content with what I got.
Yeah, if you come from the punk scene, it's a stereotype at this point where, or even if you just listen to like a pop punk band, every single band like wants to leave their hometown, where they're like, this place sucks. I'm over it. Yeah, so they write some stupid jumpy riff over it. But yeah, I think it's nice to have some place that's familiar in your life because like what you're saying, you travel around and that's fun and all, but to have like something that is consistent that you can rely on and come back to, and it's even weird going through like the town that I went to high school in, just even like seeing, wow, it's maybe I'm not here that often, but this place is still pretty much the same. I don't know. I have like weird feelings about that a little bit where you're like, I don't know, like sometimes it's cool that it's the same, but it's also it felt correct at the time, but maybe now it feels like hollow a little bit where you're like, oh, like all my friends are here. Now everyone's all over the place. So like it doesn't offer the same thing that it used to offer. Is maybe anyone out there is relating to that?
Yeah,
or I'm just talking into the void.
No, I think people will relate to that where it's like, to me, I don't relate to that just because I still love my hometown and like I still have like good friends, like my best friends don't live in my hometown, but I still like every night before Thanksgiving, our local like golf course has a bunch of their alumni, 21 and over, at their bar. And it's a good time to catch up. So it's tomorrow night. It's a good time to catch up with like.
That's a good point.
It's like a yearly reunion without having to wait for the 10-year. It's like a really good time, and it's like you pick up back like you never left. Most of these people I'm talking to once a year at this thing, but you get to see their updates in life, and it's a really really cool thing that I think our town is. It's like a special thing in our town that we do. But yeah, I honestly love my town. Absolutely love. Like I would stay here. I would want to buy a house here. I love it. I don't know why, but I guess I'm just blessed to just be in just like a quaint little town. But I also understand with the years, yeah, it's really not the same at all. It's like you graduate, and then you're probably like a decade removed from high school now. I would imagine. And then you see these new kids in high school, and it's like, I have no idea who any of these kids are, but that was me at one point. It's kind of like this weird thing where it's just like, yeah, it's like this used to be my life, and now you're like out of touch with the community. I guess it helps that I literally own a tackle store in town, so that's probably why I'm now thinking about that. I'm like literally a part of town, but
dude. Yeah. Well, I mean, like my where I grew up is not the same town that I went to high school. I mean, like I didn't move. Don't get me wrong, but it's like our town is. Well, I guess we'll call it so small that it doesn't have a high school, so we could have gone to like a bunch of different places.
I get that.
So that's what I mean. But I did find out recently that the high school that I went to, for the 3 people that listen to this that know where this is, Norwich Free Academy in Eastern Connecticut, beautiful school. But I found out that they have a disc golf club there, and they've had it for the last however long at this point. I mean, I don't remember that being a thing when I went to high school there. So I'm gonna do like a little reel about it, but I have like a bunch of discs that
you should go speak to them, guys.
Oh, well,
this could be you. Like the future's bright. You could be me.
Do you love staring at a screen for 17 hours a day? You too could have just
dreams,
the
baby.
Worst eye vision of all time. Yeah, dude, it's. I have like all of these discs. I went through. I think it's good to go through your discs every now and again. And
dude,
it's just some that have sat on the shelf, and you're like, I have no attachment to this. Maybe at one point, I mean, there are some that I just am like, this is a backup, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get rid of this and give it to someone because it'll get some joy out of it. Maybe it's like their new favorite, like a distance driver or something like that. So I have a bunch like set aside right now, right behind my desk here, and I'm going to be doing a little video where I go to the school. First, I have to call, make sure that, I don't just show up and they're like, what is this out there? Frisbee golf? But yeah, just trying to inspire people because I'm sure some people will see that video and be like, oh, you're recording to show us how good of a person you are, like donating. But it's more so hopefully to inspire other people to maybe do the same thing. Yeah. It's nice to like turn in discs and get money back. But these kids, I don't know. I don't
money back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It feels nice giving back to like a place that helped shape me and that I got a lot out of. So yeah, hopefully some kids
Yeah,
there will get some enjoyment out of those.
dude, super cool. I think it's super important. And why I got excited is because I have a similar story that already happened. And I do the same thing where it's like either I see a new player or just someone, and I go like to the back of my car. Like there's been so many times where so many is a little much, but there's been times where I'll just go to my car where I'm doing field work and this kid starts playing, or and I'll just be like, hey, like take this, enjoy it, whatever, and not really say much,
Mm-hmm.
just letting them kind of experience it. Like I remember one time at Maple Hill, it was I overheard it was this kid's first day. They were following me the whole time, so I went to my car, got like a lightweight disc, and I was like, "Is this your first day?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Enjoy it," and I just kept walking, and I gave him this. But that's not the story I was gonna tell. The cool story that recently happened to me, and I'm not gonna say his name just for privacy. This is a young kid, but I was playing at a course recently, and the course, like maybe like midway, there's a basket right across from this kid's house, and the kid's outside blowing on his recorder, which is so funny, by the way, because that is like everyone in fifth grade, the hot cross bun. So he's blowing on his recorder, just like being a kid, no phone,
Mm-hmm.
just having a great time. It was just like really cool to see. He was just like running around. He's probably like 10, 11 years old, running around, just like playing with a recorder and doing other things. So I saw him and I was like, bro, like I have to tell this kid. I was like, hey, man. He's like, hey, what's up? Which I realize is creepy, this random stranger, but
That's exactly what I wanted to mention when you're done with your story.
yeah,
Exactly that.
I understand it's creepy, but I made sure, I respected the boundaries. I didn't go on his property. I stayed on the disc golf course, but I was like, do you know about disc golf? He was like, no. So I threw him like an AVR. I threw him an AVR, and I started telling him about it, telling him where to get store discs and stuff like that at stores, and if you want to get into it. And I'm telling him about pros and how he can be a pro, and he's like, dude, if I become a pro, I'll remember you. And he just started throwing it in his yard, and he was good. Like he was good at it. He could throw the disc like 150 feet, like just off the rip, like far,
Mm-hmm.
like with a putter. Obviously when the first, but it was like one of the most impressive first tries with a disc I've probably ever seen, and he was good. And so I was chatting up. I was like, yeah, man, just like, you have a course right across from you. Like I like, if you can, tell your mom to go try one day. Maybe you like it. And so yeah, I just left him with that disc, and who knows what'll happen with that seed that was planted. But that was an exciting story because he was just a super cool kid, and he was super appreciative. And he just, so the way the course goes, it's like 4 holes later or 3 holes later, it loops back to kind of around where the hole I was on,
Mm-hmm.
and he was still playing with the disc. Just so it was cool to see him like 20 minutes later just launching it. Like I said, I'm the same with you, and I don't share this story to be like, ooh, look at me, I'm a good guy. I share this story just because it was just a really, really cool story, and I think if everyone had at least one disc in their bag as a giveaway disc, you'd be surprised how many opportunities you get to just give away a disc to someone that doesn't maybe need it, but that you can start their career in disc golf. Like I said, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
doing field work and a kid comes up to you and there's like, what is this? Stuff like that. So, yeah. Do we have Jay Miller?
Yeah.
Yo,
Boy has been lurking.
what up, dude?
Welcome in.
Yeah, I've been here the whole episode, just listening mainly.
Yeah,
Dude, I actually
it.
forgot I'm on a podcast.
I know. What are
Dude,
we
I was just
talking about?
enjoying it. I thought I turned on the Funsie podcast. No,
on your TV. How we doing?
Sorry to everyone listening or watching. I forgot that we are in a different time zone. Me and the boys. They said 7 o'clock start, so I was working on 7 o'clock, not 7 o'clock Eastern when I'm in Central Time. So that's on me. I'm here now.
We are
That's all
chilling.
good.
Some
We had a good talk.
free giveaway disc stories. Sounds like a
Do you
good,
have any cool
good
stories
podcast
like that?
episode.
Yeah, like helping out
might as well.
newbies or someone that you see and you're like, hey, you ever heard of disc golf?
No, I in college a lot more.
Mhm.
Like making friends come play with me. Like anytime I have a friend that comes and plays disc golf with me, or I'm trying to get to play disc golf, I give them 5 discs, just of like extra ones I have because I have so many extra ones.
Yeah,
But like I
exactly.
haven't done it with like randos really. Like most of the time it's like I take someone to play and they're like, "Oh, this is fun," and I'm like, "Okay, here are some discs."
Mhm.
Like keep getting into it. But I don't know. I guess more so recently, I've just been doing YouTube and stuff, and assuming that that's enough good work for the general public.
No,
Yo, Josh is
not good
kind of
enough.
selfish.
At the general, he has a meter. He has a barometer of goodness he has to hit. No, yeah, the opportunities aren't frequent, but they're there. It happens to me maybe 3-4 times a year where it's just like, you feel that tugging in your heart, like, oh, like this, should give this guy this. This might be the start. Like, and like a little part of me wants to, like, if that little kid that I just talked about, a little part of me wants to be the reason that he's on now on, I want that after the winning the world championship. This is all because this one man gave me a disc in his driveway. Obviously, that's not the reason I do it, but I think about that. Like, how cool would that be if that was actually the start? Because we all have that start, and I have a person that I give credit
We'll
to.
dedicate your
start.
world championship to.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, for Colruyt Allen, wasn't it Zoe Andyke
Yeah.
coming to his town and showing
Yes.
like what disc golf is at
you
his
play.
school?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's really cool.
So you hear that they're doing all this stuff and you're like, that's great, but you don't actually know. You don't hear stories of people that's like the reason that they got into disc golf. So to hear that that's actually, I mean, we know that it's making a difference, but to hear like a real life thing where it's like, oh, this guy's like a pro now and like competing at the top of the sport. Yeah, it's I feel like all those exact things that you're like, something that may be small to you may completely impact a person's life, like permanently in a good way.
Yeah. No. 100%. I'm all about kind of like just little notions of kindness, because this world is kind of it's dull and gray. There's great things, but just the world in general. When I talk about the world in general, I'm talking about just like the things that are going on. There's poverty, there's hunger, there's just there's cancer, there's people dying, stuff like that. It's you don't never know what someone is going through. Like a little gesture of just kindness sometimes is just like totally shocking and unexpected in a person's life, that it it actually helps them, if that makes sense, where it's just like something they just like. I feel like this world sometimes like isn't used to just strangers or people being kind to one another. Sometimes it just seems that way. So like these little notions of kindness go a long way, and I always kind of preach that to like if you feel something. Like I have another story like that, but I'm not gonna share because that's gonna get a little too like look at me. But I did it today. But
No, I like the story that you shared. It made me smile, and hopefully for listeners, it was the same way.
Cool.
But at like the field that I practice at, there were these two little boys. I think Kiara was actually with me at the time as well. These two little boys just like showed up and brought a soccer ball, and we're just like kicking it at this net. It's not even a soccer net, and there was no one else around, so I assume they just like walked from up the road. And I don't know, they were like watching us throw, and I was like, I think they really like want to like try this.
Yeah.
So I had like I putted with P2s, like P line, D line, whatever. I have P2s like right before the current putters that I have. And I was like, I don't need these, man. I can get other putters. And that's when I moved over to the links. So I was like, exactly what you're saying, Ben. You're almost
the putters.
I don't know why
Always
this is the case. It always like afraid of feeling creepy, because you watch so many videos growing up of, or like, hopefully if you had like a decent upbringing, you're like, okay, well, don't interact with strangers. And you're like, oh, right now I am that stranger and I'm trying to do everything in my power to not be a weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thinking. Don't interact with strangers, but like that's why I was like, there's boundaries that you like, right. Just in case, you have to like be able to protect yourself, because sometimes I know obviously like Kiara was there, but like there could be a situation where it's your word against theirs or something like that. So that's why like me like I understand 100%, because yeah, the world, like I said again, like people do evil things and it stinks, and like that's why doing kindness things can sometimes look as something weird, which is like such a weird thing. Like, oh, that's creepy, giving a little kid a toy. Like it sounds weird, up. But like, why is that weird? We're just like, you're just like giving them a gift.
Well, that has nothing to do with you per se. I think a lot of people have just developed thinking that way because they're jaded by other things that have happened in their life, or hearing about things that have happened to others.
Danger.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I get where it comes from, but
100%.
Yeah, we gave each of them 3 discs, and
so cool.
Then we start to leave and we see them like tossing in the field, and it feels good. You hope that they still stick with it and do whatever. I mean, the discs aren't in the field anymore, so someone has them.
Yeah, they kept them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I never get a full circle, It's one of those things, you never get the full circle thing, maybe years down the line, but it's always one of those things like, here you go, and then you walk away and it's like, I don't know where the story ends, but hopefully it's a good one, a cool one, like where they start playing, or even if they don't, I mean,
yeah,
it's still cool.
Do you guys actually have discs? So on the flip side, do you have discs that you lost? You're like, I swear I remember this disc, but I don't know what happened to it. It's not like you went out, you threw it, and it's just gone. Because for me, I had a 5-time Macbeth Undertaker. It just doesn't exist. Like, does not exist anymore. And I'm like, someone is either stealing from me right now, or I'm crazy and I just threw it and left it somewhere. I don't think that's like, I mean, I have no idea.
So with me, as you can guys imagine, it happens all the time where I'll just like be playing, and then the next day I'll look into my bag to find a disc, and it's just not there. And I'm like,
do you still have the recess disc?
Yes. And I almost lost it the other day. I spent like 30 minutes looking for it. It's because I thought it went left, it went right. But yes, I do have so this like that are my favorites. I'll always keep an eye on, but it's a disc like I just lost the Buzz SS that I just got from like the Vineyard tournament, and I went to go pull it out the other day, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Where is my Buzz SS? Because I was like the 3rd time I did that day with a separate disc. My problem is I just throw way too many discs.
Dude, I actually well, Josh, you can share your thoughts first before I move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I've had it happen in both cases where I've thrown multiple shots on a hole and then just left the disc on a hole and then realized like a day later. But I've also had like in my stack of discs, like sworn I had a disc, and then I'm just searching for it and I cannot find it, and I literally have no clue what happened to it. Like,
yeah,
I think I've lost like a Halo Wraith like that. Gosh, I'm trying to remember, but I just have like these feelings right now. You unlocked a memory for me where it's like there have definitely 100% been discs where I'm just at home. I remember having in my stack. I go look at my stack and there's no disc there, and I'm like, what happened to it? Like, I don't have a memory of losing it, so where did it go? So, yeah, I don't know. Someone's pranking us. There's a disc leprechaun going around and just grabbing them.
So,
dude,
free promo, real quick. Free promo, not really, but this is to help our audience. Speaking of Halo Race, Innova just launched, I don't know, it might be sold out by now, but they just launched a flash sale for Halo Race for $7, Halo Destroyers for $7, Star Destroyers for I think $6, so, and a bunch of other discs. So
on the warehouse,
yes, on their factory second warehouse. They just posted it on like Facebook, so I already ordered it for you. Anywho,
That's pretty fresh. Ben, I've been meaning to ask you for the last month, I think, at this point. Uh, did I? Maybe I did ask you. I don't even know. The vineyard course. Did you enjoy it? Like, what were your thoughts on it? Because this is
So-
still a fairly new course in Eastern Connecticut.
so it's funny. I did enjoy it. Yes, you played it, right? I did enjoy it. Yes. I thought it was. I can't knock the course for this. The one bummer thing was just like the rough was pretty rough, but that's because it's a new course. So I'm not gonna knock it until like 3 years from now. But I thought it was just funny that I'm stepping up like sick. I'm in a vineyard, and it's like 3 holes, and then you get sucked into another portal, another dimension, and it's all of a sudden you're in like W.R. Jackson or Northwood Black. Like it's just like I was like, wait, I thought I was supposed to be in a vineyard, and the hike was insane. At least the first time because I wasn't expecting it. But I'm like, okay, vineyard vibes, and then you go like to the mountains and elevation and the woods, and you're there for 15 out of the 18 holes. I just wasn't expecting that, but it was a great course. I will say it was a really cool course. I really enjoyed it. I shot like 6 down on the shorts in tournament, and then on the longs I like kind of like blew up and shot like I could have got even in tournament, but I was just like I was losing, so I had to go for like an eagle at one point, and it just it just never came back in bounds. So that was like an instant double bogey. So like I think the longs were really cool, and they were challenging enough where it was just like you had to hit your line. Some holes weren't as challenging, but I think the longs were really shorts were really cool for everyone, really fun. But I think the longs were also very special too, in the sense of like it was challenging, which I like is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's the kind of course where the big complaints. Yeah, the rough is. If you're in the rough, yeah, best of luck. You're like, actually,
You're not finding any grapes.
I'm going home. I'm straight up.
Yeah.
I'm just going home.
No grapes
the
in
hike.
the rough.
I think the hike will keep a lot of people away. Having said those things, I think the course is very fun, and I think it also has the most signature holes of any local course that I can really think of.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you don't feel the same way, but there are like, I feel like a third of the holes there are so cool.
I think they're very cool. It's just I don't know about. To me, like a signature hole has to do a lot with the scenery. Like I think hole 3 of the vineyard.
Yeah,
course,
the best hole.
over the dude that was aced in my face. And I was the starting hole we started on, forehand aced. That's when I knew I was losing the tournament. Second round, I was on lead court. And I was like, yep, that's it. But yeah, that's definitely a signature hole. It's aced like 350 over the vineyard. But to me, signature holes are more so like other than like hole 12 on Northwoods Blacks, but to me I think a lot of them are like pretty wise. Like for me, I think of like hole 1 Maple Hill. That's a signature hole. I think a big part of it is because it's just like the views of it. Same with hole 14 at Maple Hill. Same with hole 8. I think it's just like kind of unique in a way, whereas when you get into the woods, I feel like it's a lot tougher to have those sort of signature holes because it all kind of blends.
No, that makes sense. The Josh, do you have like really vineyard courses or anything? Like, there's probably not vineyard. What am I saying? There's probably not vineyards in Texas. Yeah, but I mean, you played Sprinkle Valley this past weekend at a brewery,
how was
so like
that?
that's like a unique type of course that you at least have down in your area.
Yeah, I would say in Texas, we don't. You don't really have like a unique style of course. It's either like woods course or open golf. There's not really like there's not vineyards or anything. Like the unique things that we have are gimmicks. Like the putter course,
Armadillo.
Flying Armadillo, or whatever like that. Like out of the courses I've played, like it's just. I mean, honestly, the courses that are set apart are when they're well maintained and maybe a little bit prettier. like, and the prettiness is good trees. Like there's not really elevation
Good
change
cedars.
in Texas. So like there's not going to be mountains or anything crazy.
That's a good point.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that Sprinkle Valley is the best course in Austin, and it might be the best course in Texas, but I don't know. And I just think it's well designed, and I think they keep it maintained, and it's a fun course to play.
So I saw you play the Hideaway, which I also played when I was in Dallas. Did you play the Longs? I'm hoping.
I played the other course. So there's 2 courses on the property. I've played both.
Okay.
The Roadrunner. The Roadrunner is
both.
the like super well known one that's like been around for a little while now, and that's one that you can take a cart around, and it's kind of treacherous and hard. So I played that one like a year and a half ago, maybe, and then I played the other course recently, and so that's definitely I would say that's for sure also a contender for best course in Texas. That's like the closest thing I've ever played. Well, never mind. Second closest thing I've ever played to like playing real golf in disc golf,
Dude, well,
yeah.
That's where I was
Hideaway
going.
course is
I
insane.
was wanting your opinion on the Longs because those were hard. That was the hardest, or Longs. I don't know. I think it's the Roadrunner. Maybe is what we're talking about. But
Yes.
that was hard, very hard.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough course.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I did play the I can't believe I forgot this. I did play that little shorter course. I played my buddies for Freebirds after we played the hard course. So whoever winner got Freebirds. So I that course was really fun. But the long course, that was just like one of the toughest courses I've ever played. It was like straight woods, but it was like woods,
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
trees everywhere.
Have you played in Charlotte, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, scrapyard holes 1 through 9.
And nothing else.
Nothing else.
Yeah, so Roadrunner in my eyes is like a mid-tier like hardness course, because now I've played Hornets Nets and Nevins
Mid-tier?
in the
Red-
long,
Red.
and those are probably the 2 hardest courses I've ever played, like hands down, bar none. Eagles
Gannon
Crossing long
shot 13 down.
was
Think about
was sorry, say it again.
I said in Gannon Burr shot 13.
I know. I mean, if you guys watch my YouTube video, I shot, I don't know, like plus 18 or something. And I mean, I played bad, but it's insane.
So
Yeah, those courses
unattainable.
are so hard.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Josh,
how we got here.
Josh, did you have topics that you would like to tackle in this episode?
I have one topic.
Otherwise, Benny Boy. But yeah, dude, if you have something,
go
by all
ahead
means.
with your Ben's.
Ben's Kenny's. It's so funny. My Instagram handle is Ben Kenny's, and a lot of people.
They call you Kenny's.
Yeah, you've heard it. Have you heard it?
I hear it
no.
all the time because people will, they'll refer to you, and they always say your first and last name.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah,
almost
I
never
thought your
just
last name
Ben.
was Kenny's as well, Ben. I thought
Yeah.
it was Kenny's.
So
Yeah.
everyone always calls me by my first and last name, like no matter what. Every new person that I meet, it's always Ben Kenny, Ben Kenny, Ben Kenny. But then recently a lot of people have been calling me Kenny's, which makes sense. I'm not saying like knocking it, but it's just funny to hear like people say Ben Kenny's. And today I noticed that I'm 3 letters off of being named Ben Kenobi. Thank you. So my topic, since we're content creators, I just released a video. Dud. It flopped. This is my first dud video, and dud as in like it was a good video, but where it didn't get over 1,000 views. So I'm not sure if it's the editing, it's because I had a 30-second ad right away for my expos, or if it's just like something people aren't really interested in, because I thought it was like kind of, this angle I was trying to take, this like game show-esque thing. I thought it was like a really good idea, but it doesn't seem to be kind of clicking. And maybe I'll keep trying it, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like that was my first. It only has 300 views right now, which is like my lowest since I think it's been 2 years. So much so that and I haven't posted that I think I might get unmonetized this month. I know. So their requirements are kind of ridiculous. It's like you have to get 4,000. You have to have over 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. Like my first one, Ace featuring Big Germ, got 33,000 views, and that got like 3,000 watch hours. So you need like 40,000 views within a year to keep. So I didn't know that they took away. So that was part of the reason that I was like, okay, I got to release something. But yeah, it just didn't do well. I don't know. Basically, topic. What were you guys' thoughts on the video? I don't know. Like, no shame if you didn't watch it. But what were your thoughts? And do I just keep trying it, or is this the end of the kind of cool little funny game type things? Because I've seen it work in other niches, so maybe it's just like, you know, new because it's never really been done in disc golf, and so people don't really care about it. I don't know.
I have a few thoughts. So my first thought is it flopped because I don't think people are interested in the title and thumbnail. I think that the game show-esque style videos and topics like that have value because it's been proven in other sports and people are interested.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has value because people don't know who you are. I think it's one of those things that so I think you either commit to it and do it for a long time and post a million videos about it, and then eventually, you know, it catches traction. I mean, in my opinion, that's why Foundation has a platform, is they posted disc golf content for so long that people grew attached and now they watch them. Like, the value proposition of each episode is, we did a crazy round of disc golf doing this. And, you know, it's the value is that it's the Foundation guys. Like, if someone random posted a video saying we did imposter disc golf, no one would care, but people care because it's Foundation. And so I think it's the same thing with your video. Like, if people, you know, viewed you as the game show YouTube disc golf guy, then it would have value. And I think the format could work well like that. But I think the lens, I try to guess the player best based on their signature. Like, I just don't think that's something someone's going to click on. Like, to me, I see that and I'm like, oh, I'll watch it because I know Ben as a person. Yeah. But if someone else posted that, I'm not watching it. Like, that's something that I have to think through when I'm making my title or thumbnail. And I try to do that a lot, and sometimes I miss for sure. But like, you got to think about it as, why would I watch this video? And if you look at it and you're like, I wouldn't watch this video, then reframe it, man. Come up with something else. And that'll be successful. And then, kind of going off of what you said second, I'll just say this. I don't think that I think that the way YouTube has it set up is good, because you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to even make any money that is not nominal, in my opinion. So, like, if they let anyone monetize and you're getting, I mean, heck, you're getting 300 views a video, like, you're only seeing $2 in a year, you know, less than that maybe. So it's just like, at that point, why even worry about it? So I don't think the threshold is that insane, but I kind of understand being upset for sure.
Well, I don't think I'm upset at all. I'm just more, I think the only thing is, if I do have a banger video and it gets like 100,000 views, like my next video, you know, gets banger, then it's just not monetized because of it now, because you know, whatever, because I didn't, you know, and then maybe that'll make me meet the requirements, but I'm not upset about it at all. I think and it's like either that or 10 million views on shorts, which is also, but I think they changed that recently. Like, they had to have, because, or maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think if I was that guy and people grew a fan base off of that, it'd be cool. I thought the reason I'm doing or trying to do these videos is because they're lower effort while in something I still enjoy. But like I'm just not I'm just not a I'm not a you, Jay Millie. It's just not I have other things like an expo. Like your YouTube is my expo, if that makes sense. So it's just like that's why I'm not worried about it. I'm doing this for fun. I'm not trying to do it because I want to be the next big content creator. I mean, heck, I have a freaking Beat Bonanza for win $20 video on my SD card, unedited, for the past year. Like I feel like that'd be a pretty good successful video. It's just it's just not on my priority to edit it. You know, I got other things on my priority. So that's why I'm not like it is a bummer, but that's why I was starting to release these kind of trivia type things. I thought it'd be kind of like easier, but then no, still a lot of editing. Like no matter what, maybe I'm just too obsessed, but it took me like 5 hours just to get the pictures of the autographs up and then like put the points, you know, because you're going through every single one and stuff like that. Like it took me a while just because I keep replaying, keep cutting, keep changing volumes. And then by the time that was all, it's just like these little, it's crazy that people don't realize these little things like putting those points took me like an hour or so. I don't know why, but yeah.
I guess for me, if I was to give feedback, I think you have a good idea, Ben, and like you said, you at least enjoy making it.
Yeah.
It's just more so. So I feel like I kind of deal with that on like a smaller daily scale, like for making the stuff for another round. Like you can take the exact same clip and what you put as like the title or how you start the clip will completely change people's perception of the exact same footage that you're presenting them. So I'm sure, like you're saying, I'm sure it is, like I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure it is actually a good video, and I think the idea is there.
It's funny.
But maybe it just needs to appeal to your audience in a way that you like gain an understanding of what they want to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
it could be the exact same, like I said, the exact same footage. It's just messing around with like how you package it. So like for example, the another round stuff, people love to see over the water. They love aces, or I'll even take like, okay, so I realized I say this.
Pull back the curtain.
Pull back
we're
the
breaking
curtain.
the fourth wall.
So Joe Henderson sent over a clip that I ended up working on, and it was of her throwing like pretty short hole. She threw her buzz and turned way over. The wind just took it away.
I saw
so that. It was her. She gave some suggestions, and they were good suggestions for like things to put on screen and what to put in the description. She's like, I think she wanted to say something to the effect of, "Tell me it's windy without telling me that it's windy." But instead, I asked her, I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I like embellish this clip a little bit?" And she's like, "Yeah, go for it. Do whatever you want." So I put like the Snapchat text over it and said something like,
Bro doesn't know what he's doing.
No, kind of like we're playing like a one disc only round or something like that, and you just like watch her disc like sail off like way over to the right, like get lost. So it's just like taking something and making it funny, even though that's maybe not originally what the clip is about. It's like I said, it's the exact same clip, and I'm sure like with hers, it probably would have done like decent, but now I think hers is up to like 150,000 views right now, which is like, it's pretty decent. It's not bad, but
that's great.
The point being, you just gotta mess around and see what people like. I guess it's difficult for you because you, like you said, you don't do them as often as you would like. So maybe it's like harder to get feedback, and obviously doing a YouTube video, you're investing so much more time and energy into something. So by the time you get feedback, it's like, oh well, I just put all this time into that. That kind of hurts. But
yeah,
I guess that's it.
Yeah, I think my production, like, it doesn't look as professional, but that's just because it's just like the mic and stuff, but it's like no, the lighting is kind of dark, kind of dim. I think that definitely hinders it a little bit, but that's just because it's just what you do when you first starting out new things. You're kind of testing the waters. You don't want to invest in a $140 whatever light and stuff like that. So I worked hard on it. It took me probably like 20 hours to edit. That's the thing. Like that dumb of a video, or like that, not dumb, but like dumb as in like how easy it appears. It just takes me a while because I watched the video like 40 times. That's an exaggeration, but it might be like 20 times before I officially post it because I just keep going back, changing audio, cutting more and more. So yeah, but hey, maybe this is Operation Save the Monetization. Maybe I either I gotta edit the Bonanza or the Ganon, or I have one more like where that I don't really want to share. That's so I gotta maybe before that period ends, I gotta release a banger and see if I can save it. Operation Save the Monetization.
I think you can't be upset if you lose your monetization when you have like 3 videos in the last year or something like that.
Yeah,
More
no,
than me.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
3. Literally 3.
Yeah, and so that's my opinion. I think you could easily do fine on YouTube, but you'd have to split your brain, which I understand not doing. But I do feel like for how much you talk about being an expo guy and not a YouTube guy, you sure do film a lot of videos and still try to post on YouTube. So I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. Commit to the expo and give up on YouTube, or start doing stuff on YouTube so you don't.
It's just like it's a passion thing. It's just like, like the thing is, I have videos docked up, but you got to understand, these are 3 days out of 365. It's not like I'm actively pursuing to be a YouTube. It's not like I'm recording all the time like this. It's just like when I have a cool idea or this opportunity, I'm going to do it. And then it's just going to sit there until I have time to do it. Like, I'm okay with that.
I understand that for sure. But like the $20 Bonanza thing, like I definitely think these videos that you're mentioning, like, aren't going to perform as well as you'd hope a year or 2 years after you film them, because it's going to be much harder to edit them. Like the footage isn't clear on your mind. Like I think if you're going to go out of your way to film something, you got to just knock it out that week, Like sometimes I film something and I don't get around to editing it till 2 weeks or a little bit later. And it is just so much harder for me to put the video together, like in my head, and like come up with a story and like be passionate about it. It's so long ago. I mean, and I'm talking about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. It's so long ago to me that I'm like, I almost just want to like scrap this and just restart and refilm this, or, redo this. And so I can't imagine filming a video a year ago and being like, I'll edit that at some point. Like, that just sounds.
That's because
it sounds like it's so looming. So
that's because we're
daunting.
different. Like YouTube is your main career that you want to do. YouTube for me is something. It's just like darts. Like I don't play darts, but like someone might enjoy playing darts, and like it's it's just a fun thing. That's what YouTube is for me. That's why. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. Like I want to make that clear. I just do it because I enjoy it, and when I do release it, it's because I had time to, and then I wanted to, and stuff like that. The reason I mentioned the expos, it's not so much like, like it's tearing me apart. What do I choose? Am I a man or am I a Muppet? It's not like that. It's more so like expos are my thing. It's like that. Like this is how I'm gonna provide for my family for the next 60 years, hopefully. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive to that. Like I have something special here. I would never sacrifice that because I want to be a YouTuber. The YouTube is just there because it's just something. I mean, it's just something I enjoy, and I feel like that's totally okay. But like you said,
No,
And
you're right. I just think that since I am a YouTuber, I'm incredibly biased, but I do
yeah,
think you're missing out on I think you're missing
greatness.
out on a lot of free advertisement for expos. I think they could easily go hand in hand,
Well, I'm thinking
because
about just hiring an
like
editor.
ad reads are like very valuable to companies, and so just heck, do your expo ad reads on there. But
Well, I'm already
no,
in
I totally
talks.
understand. I understand that, like, yeah, like for some people it's just a hobby. You may post 4 videos in 4 days, and you may not post for the rest of the next year. So I understand that. I'm biased.
Yeah,
Ben,
I recede my hate.
Ben, do you have takeaways that like going into the next video of like things that you would try or things that you learned at least from this video?
um, takeaways. It's so hard because it's so fresh. I'm sure 3 years from now I'll be like, oh, this was dumb. Takeaways. I don't know. I really don't have like much takeaways other than I think it was a funny video. I think it was like a silly video, but it was a funny video. It was a cool video, and I had a lot of fun. And like the views are the views. I can't, it's just one of those things. Like it's just like if it doesn't do well, oh well. Like for things like YouTube, I can say this. If this happened to my expo and it didn't do well after I put my blood, sweat, soul, and tears into it, I'd be like, ugh, I wouldn't even know what to do. But something like this, it's just like I tried it, I did it, didn't perform well. That's okay. On to the next one. So I don't know what I would. I guess the lighting. Maybe I'd change the lighting, and I would adjust the volume a little higher. My friend's mic was a little lower, and I didn't even recognize it till after. But stuff like that. And I'm thinking about maybe just like if the expos go well this year, Lord willing, I'm thinking about just hiring an editor. And I have the capacity to create the videos. I don't have the capacity to work 20 hours on the videos after working. Like I don't have the capacity to J Million it up, to work 40 hours a week and somehow like find time to record and then edit for like another 20 hours. It's just like that's just not me. And a part of me, it feels like this is expo season now, but next year after the expos I'm a little more free, so I'd be able to do more. But right now a part of me feels like even then it took a lot, like it took a whole day of just like not doing things work for the expo, which is fine. Like there's not always things that you need to do. It's kind of like I'm waiting for people to sign up and like setting up Eventbrite and stuff like that. But it's just like kind of like that thing where it's like I need to really lock in and not suck so much time away from. That's why right now I'm like not editing at all really, and that was it. And if a next video comes out, I'll probably just hire an editor. I might do that. We'll see. Maybe.
Nice. So, being Thanksgiving, I don't want to be like super corny and be like, "This is what I'm thankful for." I mean, those are great things, but maybe like the podcast isn't the platform for me to be sharing those things. More so, I was kind of reflecting and thinking about the people that kind of got me to the point that I'm at now. Mainly being like, like Disc Golf Bra and
Jim,
maybe he's not even listening to this,
everyone.
but like Tony Lee, like all these people in my local community that were very important for me, like starting out, like having friends in the scene. And now they don't, obviously they still exist, but they don't exist in terms of like disc golf or
Yeah,
like
dude, Tony Lee was a bummer. Like he just I was kind of like enjoying watching his kind of form journey and stuff, and then he just like disappeared. Sad.
right. I mean, same thing with disc golf bra.
Yeah, well, I
I
understand why disc golf, bro.
yeah, I understand why disc golf bra as well, but it's
What
more
happened to
so.
these people? I don't know either of them.
So okay,
Disc golf, bro.
so Tony Lee, an individual that lives pretty much in my general area, and we like started out around the same time, and we would nerd out about form and whatnot, and it just
Mhm.
was fun to have like someone that's like, oh, you feel the same way about this thing that we're doing, cool. And then he was on the team for disc golf bra. So for those that don't know, they were like a local kind of like jokey apparel company, and also do like discs and whatnot. And they had a team, and Tony was on that team, and I was like, oh, it's the coolest thing ever. All these people are on this, like this team in my area that's doing things that felt, and I mean, they were important, but especially then, like starting out, I'm like, this is super big, like big deal. So then eventually Disc Golf Bra started doing kind of just like not media team. What's the term? Like they were basically like ambassadors. And I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, man. I'm gonna try to go for that. And I did get on, and Tony was like a big part of me getting on there. And I feel like I attribute a lot of my early success in making content to those guys at Disc Golf Bra, because that's when they did like this amazing idea of like doing March Madness brackets, but like pitting
really
all the
cool.
ambassadors against each other and like making content. And I was like, I'm gonna win this thing. So that's when I started doing like the funny videos and whatnot, and not just like, let me throw a frisbee. And like you could collab with them. Like that was around the time that collab posts started coming out, and you could get like so much more traction on the videos that you were doing. And I don't know what they had at the time. I just looked the other day, and I think Disc Golf Bra is at like 27,000 followers or something like that. So that's obviously way more than me at the time. That probably had like 1,000. So yeah, I guess the point that I'm getting at is these are all huge people, and I'm sure we all have these people in our lives as well that were so, like, they helped us out so much, but now don't even like all the people that were on the team and were so stoked about everything, like I don't hear anything from any of them. I could check in with them, of course, but it's just bizarre how like people come and go in your life, and they help you get to where you're at, and now it's like they don't even exist anymore, but you owe a lot to them. I don't really know what the point is of that, but hopefully like
No, I mean, you gave us the point. Yeah, that was
I
that was the
understand.
point. Just like thank you. We love you. Tony Lee,
No.
we love you.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just to like be grateful for those people, like looking back, and we've talked about this before about not being able to, just kind of like struggling to reflect, because it's always like, what's the next thing? Like, okay, I got to upload, I got to edit. And then you look back and you're like, boy, all these people helped me out when they didn't have to do any of that. And now it's just bizarre that they're not there, even though they were so huge in your life to help get you where you are.
Totally.
Facts.
Yeah. I kind of relate. I don't super relate. Like
no. Oh, okay.
I haven't.
You don't have a Tony
like,
Lee in your life?
I've had like
dude.
a lot of people help me out per se, for sure. Like I would not be where I am without my wife. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way, Sajko. But like my wife has filmed all my stuff, been so supportive, all that. But like in terms of someone that's helped me out at the beginning and then kind of disappeared, somehow most of the people that have helped me out are still around. You know, like Jesse from Trash Panda was like one of the first people to reach out and be like, "Hey, what you're doing is good stuff, bruh. You know, like what you're doing. Here's some discs." I was like, nice, let's go. And so there hasn't been many people that were like helping me out and then disappeared. But I understand the sentiment for sure.
Well, I think
it's definitely in other aspects of my life.
We're grateful for. I don't think they have to disappear off the map.
True. Yeah, I'm very grateful for a lot of opportunities I've been blessed with, for sure.
Amen. And I'm grateful for you guys. Come on, bring it in.
Yeah. All right. I said the point wasn't to get corny.
You got a hug,
Sajko, bring it in, brother.
Oh yeah, my arms are open. You just can't see them.
That's a lie.
Yeah. Oh wait, he was reaching for something. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, dude. Obviously, I'm appreciative of the platform and like where I'm at with all of this. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and probably ad nauseum for listeners, but
ad nauseum was a good word.
But yeah, especially now. Just I don't know. That's just where I'm at. Just feeling it.
It's a time for reflection. It's a time for reflection. Listeners, everyone, do some reflection. We're giving you 10 seconds, 10 Mississippis. Reflect for this 10 Mississippis.
Even at this point, dude, like Thanksgiving is just like Black Friday but with like under disguise. It's almost like Thanksgiving doesn't even exist
True.
anymore. It's just like the dinner that you have before you lose your mind. And I mean, people probably don't like sprint through Walmart anymore, but like
No.
still,
They sprint to their phones and go on Amazon Black Friday deals and all that.
yeah, and pass out at 7
And
p.m.
buy
after
flash sales.
at like the turkey hits. So yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm like you said, or we started off the podcast. I'm a hermit, and I'm very sentimental and introspective about things that I mean, that's just how I am. I'm sure for a lot of people, they're like, I don't really care, whatever, move on to the next thing. And that's valid and that's fine, but you're probably listening to the wrong podcast then.
Ouch, bro. Sajko's been bringing the heat. It was Jay Millie. Jay Millie used to always bring the heat, but Sajko has kind of taken over the heat crown recently.
We can rotate. Ben, you're next.
Taking over
No,
the
I
Heat
don't-
crown recently?
bring-
Why? Because of the thing that I posted yesterday?
Yeah, and then this is the wrong podcast, brother. Yeah, that was in reference to.
I don't even feel like that was a hot take, or it shouldn't be.
No, I'm not
Okay.
saying a hot take.
Tell-
I'm just
tell
saying
the
like, you're
listeners
bringing,
what
you're
you
like calling
posted.
people out. You're bringing the heat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for listeners, yesterday I was, like this is actually the busiest week of work at my day job that I have. So I was like, okay, well, while I'm driving around, I can at least share my thoughts on this topic that I'm like, no, I don't hear anyone talk about this. So a very prominent thing that you hear a lot of people say in disc golf is, okay, well, when you're starting out, you shouldn't throw a distance driver and you shouldn't throw this. And I think you should give, when you bring out a beginner or something like that, I think you can give like potential discs like, hey, these are really good typically for someone starting out, or like those, like I said in the video, those all come from a good place. But I feel like so many people, it's almost like the mantra in disc golf at this point where it's like, yeah, you can't throw a distance driver. Oh, you only throw 250 feet? You can't throw a distance driver. And it's like, shut up. Who cares? And everyone wants something different from disc golf. I get that, but not all disc golf is competitive disc golf, or like it's not very rigid. Like you can go out and just sit at a hole and try to ace it if you want, or you can go out and play a scored round, or it's just like a means to hang out with your buddies and catch up with them. So to put everything in like this one tiny little box and say like this is how you have to do things is crazy to me, and just like takes all the creativity out of a sport that has like honestly more than a lot of other sports. I feel like
Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed is like somehow you've just like had so many curmudgeon experiences in disc golf more than anyone else. I feel like you got like the guy picking up, which is like so random. But so my question is, like, are you hearing people saying like, no, you can't do this, or is it more so like as a beginner, like, like you shouldn't throw, you might want to throw a putter first, to get the disc out there, or is it more like you're hearing people say like, no, that's wrong, or like for like people that someone's been playing for 2 years, like, no, this isn't a destroy, because like I've personally never heard like someone be like, no, like you can't throw a destroyer on a 250-foot hole. So like, or like, is that like something you're experiencing? Like people actually physically saying that to you, or
no,
something?
not to me. They're just like
Or
things
the
that people will
essence?
say in comments on like social media, or
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'm
Or
thinking
they
like
will.
you had an experience with someone. I'm like, that's wild. But social media,
I
that
think you should.
explains it all.
I think you should guide someone in the correct direction. You're like, hey, I'm just gonna let you know, like these are gonna be like more difficult to throw, but if you want to buy it, by all means, because
Yeah.
like if this looks cool to you, or you're like, destroyer, that sounds cool, like go for it, and you
Yeah.
never know what'll happen. Like maybe they have like a disgusting sidearm or something like that, or whatever. It's case by case, but I don't know. It's even, and like I said in the video, it's not like coming after coaches, because that's obviously good advice for someone that wants it. Like if you are trying to get better at
Yes.
disc golf,
Yeah.
that's super solid. Like you should follow that like pretty clearly, where it's like, dude, I don't get it. I'm ripping over on Anheuser's on everything, and I can't get a putter to fly. It's like, okay, well, maybe you should, if you are looking for help, like try that out. But just
Yeah.
starting
No,
out, man,
yeah.
just get out there and just go play because you want to go play and hang out with your friends instead of being. But the moment that you're like, oh, actually, this is fun, and I want to get better at it, then yeah, I mean, try out those other things. I don't know, man. I just get annoyed because I don't like the idea of putting something in a box and like, oh, well, it's disc golf. This is how you're supposed to play it. Like, that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
go ahead, Jay Millie.
I feel the same way. When I get my wife to play with me, I say, do what makes you have the most fun. You know, she'll throw into the trees, and I'm like, yeah, don't play from there. Pull it out to the fairway and play from there. Like, you're gonna have more fun doing that because she has no interest in competitive disc golf. Her interest is hanging out with me and having fun, and having fun typically means playing well, you know. And so I'm like, yeah, don't take a stroke, just play from there, you know, or take your second one. I don't care. Like, we shouldn't be so specific and put these barriers on a sport like disc golf. Like, heck, if someone's trying to play competitive disc golf, yes, enforce the rules and tell them to play competitive disc golf. But when you're taking out someone for the first time and you're trying to convince them to like disc golf, because everyone should like disc golf, don't enforce the most strict rules you've ever heard. You know, don't courtesy violation the casual round you're playing with a newbie to disc golf. You know, tell them to do what makes them have the most fun, and that's how they're going to get into disc golf. Because a year from then is when they're going to be like, oh, what are the actual rules, or you know, what are the specific. How do I mark with a mini? You know, that don't mark with a mini the first time someone's playing.
Yeah,
Well, even yeah, I was just gonna say quickly, even like not everyone wants the same thing from each activity that you may get into. Like, so for example, in disc golf, I honestly think it's kind of the sickest thing when this dude can pull up in, I don't know, MA2 just wearing flip flops and only
In a
throws
grocery bag.
overhands and just
Yeah.
shreds the field.
Yeah,
I think that's why, with all due respect to Jake Wolf, every single person is trying to recreate. They're like, okay, you should be exactly like Paul Macbeth, and that's not disrespect to Paul Macbeth, of course. Like, that's the pinnacle and what everyone's trying to achieve. But when you watch someone like Jake Wolf play, it's like amazing because he goes against all the things pretty much that everyone has told you that you're supposed to do, and he's playing at like a highly competitive level, which is
yeah,
cool.
he's over
And,
1,000
like,
rated.
it's like
Not
the
many people
epitome
are
of
that.
it's the epitome of like what I appreciate. It's creative, and he's doing his own thing and what works for him. Down the road, if he wants to learn a backhand, yeah, I mean, of course, it's a little different because he's a pro. It's I guess I'm more so talking to yeah, I guess like beginners and people that just play casually, because I bet there are a lot of those. But
well,
yeah, Ben,
what I
what
was
do you
gonna
got?
say is I think it's like it's case by case basis, and it's so nuanced.
Right.
It's just like, I personally think like advice is good and I appreciate it.
Mhm.
And so others might too if it's coming from a good place. But I feel like it's also okay to like take the advice of whatever someone says and then be like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't really care about that. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think you're necessarily telling people don't give advice.
No.
But it's like the tool that's like, you know, when like my least favorite thing is it when like a male player sees an FPO player and it's like, no, like you gotta get here, and it's just like,
yeah.
like it's like no, like you don't know like how that their body works. Like, it's just like if they ask for advice from a male, yes, but like I feel like I preached last week, I think, that new DG, just like they're gonna take advice from other females because, you know, that's what they probably can connect more with and understand more, because it's a completely different, you know, body type. It's just what it is. So that, but I think sometimes if it comes from like a good place, like you already said all this, but I'm just like kind of reiterating like that the beginners don't throw a destroyer. I think it comes from a good place, but I think because you want them to like actually have the flight, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
I think it comes from a bad place when it's like starting to be like, like you're trash. Why are you throwing destroyer on this hole? Stuff like that. So and I think that's exactly what you're communicating. But I think it's just like the internet's just weird. I feel like people are gonna call out people for no reason, which is like I feel like you're starting to see it more because you're on have access to another round's channel, and it's like I was the same way when I first was on Stagger Stance. I'd read every comment, like make sure there's some nasty things out there, and I would always like overanalyze. So I think that I mean at some point you just gotta chalk it up to like social media is just kind of social media,
Yeah, of course. I'm not like losing sleep over this, so don't get me wrong. It's just more so I don't ever hear anyone I guess kind of saying the stance that I'm giving. I'm sure a lot of people feel that and agree with it because I said, it's not coming after coaching or self-improvement, or I'm sure they are all coming from a good place. It's just more so like you don't have to do that, and not everyone wants that.
Yeah. It's your choice. Like someone can come up to you and give you advice. It could be life-changing, and it could be like, yeah, that didn't really help me, but I appreciate it. I just thought like you had like a couple experiences in person, and I'm like, dude, like, how do you keep running into like these people? That's why I was just like, that's crazy that someone told you not to throw a destroyer after you threw it at like Ecker Hill or something like that.
Oh no. Oh man, Ecker Hill. No, I mean, everyone's had those experiences, I suppose, to a certain degree where
for sure.
I've stepped up like a year in disc golf and I threw, and this dude was like, dropped your shoulder a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I was like
stuff like that is
I was
crazy.
like, what the I was like, that's crazy, dude. He's like, sorry, I give advice even when people don't want it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy. But like a better way, if you want to give someone advice, a better way is like, hey, like I noticed something. Do you want advice? And they're probably gonna, if they say no, then like it's just weird to give unsolicited like that, where it's just like, like that's way too funny. You dropped your shoulder a bit. I'm guessing this guy like let you play through too, which makes it even funnier.
No, it was hole 1 at Mohegan Park, and this dude was just standing in the parking lot chugging a beer. If that helps.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. So that also makes sense. Unsolicited advice from someone
from a tool bag, yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't even probably play well at all. So yeah, that was good. I feel like that was a great conversation, and I feel like it's just like it's nuanced. Like it's like I feel like we have this conversation a lot where it's like it's all about the mindset behind it. So, this goes back to the beginning. Just be a kind person. It's like, and I know the internet's gonna be the internet, but like just be a kind person, and just help others out, and don't be a curmudgeon. I guess.
Yeah, I don't even.
I
think
feel like
advice...
that's just like life lesson of this episode.
Yeah. The advice isn't even necessarily unkind. Just having gone there, it's just. Anyways, yeah, we've talked enough about this point, and that might be the end. The end of the episode.
Think so.
Ooh. Well, everyone,
that was a good episode. Hour 20. I mean, that was one of our longer ones. I feel like we were yapping. I was yapping for sure.
Everyone,
we all know how to yap.
Yeah, we do. At this point, I mean, we hope that you have a good holiday. Hopefully, you have some people that you can spend it with. And just eat some food, have a good time, a little self-reflection, all that good stuff, and maybe catch around with some friends.
Yeah. Play some disc golf.
Yeah.
And be kind.
Or don't. I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
See you later.